Hello, I'm still in Houston, and I can't get enough of Houston right now. I need to set this thing up better than what I got. Hold on just a second. Let's see, can I pull up right here and go right here? Oh, that's probably better right there. But yeah, I'm still in Houston here, and man, it's hot. It's hot out there. It is hot out there. So today's discussion and topic is going to be about the Masonic oath and the OES oath. The oath that Masons and Eastern Stars take. I'm not going to go in depth in regards to the oath, but I'm just going to briefly talk about that and some other subjects that may come up. Depends on who's charming in and some things that we may go into. But this is basically dealing with the oath and also leadership. And I say that to say this: the title, as you've seen and may see after the video is done, is that this is just going to basically deal with leaderships too. Those of you who are worshipful masters, those of you who are grandmasters and elected to positions, when you stand on principles, you're going to be marked. When you stand on principles, you're going to be marked. And that's just the way it is. So I'm hoping that, as always, that you would get something out of this video that we're doing here today. So with that being said, I'm coming to you live from Houston, and I'm going to be here for a minute. I've been here now going on 2 days, and I've enjoyed myself, and I've been out enjoying the city. So you know what? It's about to go down, as they say. It's about to go down. So the oath that the Masons take and the Eastern Stars take, it is an oath that really binds you to that lodge, that chapter, that group of people. When I say bind you to them, it is more so of a covenant. It is something that you make with them. And this is why all Masons and Eastern Stars oath are not the same. Depends on your jurisdiction. There may be some words in your obligation that may be a little different than the one that I take, but in the overall scheme of things, the obligations are the same in the overall scheme of things. But there may be some words in there that may be a little different. So I would ask that you take your time and get hold of different rituals where you may be able to find and compare the obligations, and you will see for yourself all obligations are not the same. Some are a little different here versus words there, so you will have a better understanding of that. And this is why you may hear some brothers say, no, we didn't take the same obligations, or depends on your ritual, we did take the same obligation. So I will encourage brothers and sisters to compare different Masonic rituals, different OES rituals, and see what those obligations says. And I would tell any brother who's a Mason, get initiated in an Eastern Star and learn their works and see the connection of the brotherhood and sisterhood. A lot of times we become Masons, but we never engaged in the work of the Eastern Star. And I would tell any brother, please do yourself a favor, engage yourself in the works of the Eastern Star, so you would have a better understanding of the works of the Eastern Star. And that way you will be able to really have a good conversation with the sisters of the order, instead of you walking up to a sister saying things and really not gathering what they're trying to convey to you. Now, with that being said, a lot of people that come into the organization, they take this oath of a Mason and of an Eastern Star, and they don't really pay attention to what they're saying. In comparison, the obligation of a Mason, you take three obligations, or some may say an oath, and some may say, well, your obligation, your oath is different. I'm not debating that. I'm just saying, when you go in and you take that oath or obligation, however you want to word that, and you say what you will and will not do, you say where you'll go and won't go, you say all those things, and then you turn around and you do the opposite end of that. I would say this: if you are a brother in the lodge and you find yourself in a situation with another brother, it's always good to communicate. Communication is everything, and it's always good to do it face to face or over the phone, or however you can do that. Because what we have now is instant communication with texting and posting, and that's all good and well, but it's not. We tend to forget how to really communicate with people because we have this instant communication. So my thing is for us who are Masons, who are Eastern Stars, is for us to really gather ourselves together and understand the oath that we take and understand the things that we said we would and would not do. I say that because once again, it just goes back to looking at some of the brothers and some of the sisters and how they like to turn it up and do things and just post it all out there. I believe that some things that we do should be kept where they're at. They don't have to always go on Facebook. They don't have to always go on Instagram. That's my personal opinion. I just believe that we should be able to take our things that we do privately and keep them privately, especially if you're in leadership. If you're a Grand Master, Grand Worthy Matron, Grand Lodge Officer, Officer of the Lodge or Chapter, I believe that the things that we do, we should do them and privately. We don't have to turn up on Facebook or Instagram. I think that some things should be done decently and orderly because of your title, because of who you are in the organization. Therefore, when you do things like that, people can't come back and say, well, I saw you toe up, I saw you drunk, I saw you high, I saw this, but you're a leader in this part of the city, or you're a leader in this organization, but you're turning up over here. I just think that those things needs to be kept separately. And I don't, having fun, there's nothing wrong with having fun in this organization. I really believe that anyone who comes into any organization wants to have fun. But it's like I said before, it should be done decently and orderly. The thing is a lot of times we don't find ourselves doing that, and we find ourselves outside the door. And I set up in this chair. And when we find ourselves outside the door, then we want to get upset. When somebody call us to the carpet and say, hey man, why are you doing this and why are you doing that? So the obligations and the oath that we take, we really have to look at them and take them seriously. And people often say, well, you know what, I see this and I see that. No, I mean, some things you just can't post on Facebook. Some things you do, you just can't post on Instagram. Some things you do, you just have to do them privately. Do it within your circle. And you got to make sure your circle is tight. Because anything you do and get outside that circle, man, can definitely cause you a lot of harm, a lot of danger too. Because when you're in leadership, you're going to be marked. When you are in leadership, you're going to be marked. When you are elected to a position to serve the people, you are going to be marked. And that's the thing about being in that position. So when people come at you when you're a leader, it's really okay. That is expected. Hear me clearly. When you are an elected officer, be it your lodge, be it your grand chapter, be it your grand chapter, your local chapter, or your grand lodge, whatever position you're elected to, you're going to be marked. People are going to come at you foul sometimes, and you have to be prepared for that and be responsive in the way you respond to things. And that's including me, because I know I've gotten myself caught up in a situation where I've responded in a very negative way, and it totally just blew things out of proportion. And I don't mind admitting to that. However, I'm man enough to admit also I think things should be done in such a way till it doesn't leave a black eye on the fraternal order. And what we find is some brothers can't get down like that. Some sisters can't get down like that. They would rather keep mess going instead of trying to de-escalate. They escalate situations. And Grand Masters do the same thing. Instead of de-escalating, they escalate things. And I believe a lot of things can be easily settled once a person pick up the phone, once you communicate face to face, once you have a line of communication besides texting or posting on Facebook or Instagram. A lot of things can be handled in such a way till it builds the relationship instead of tearing down. And then we have to go back, like I said, and look at that obligation that we took, the oath that we took, the things we said we wouldn't do and we would do. When you can, as a Mason, as an Eastern Star, can really take hold of that and really respect that, then you can really be successful in whatever you're trying to do and accomplish. Whether you're trying to unite everyone, or whether you're trying to uplift everyone. And the process is going to be long term. This is not a short term thing when you are a leader. Even when you're out of office, you're still a leader. And that's the thing a lot of people don't get. Even when you're out of office, you're still a leader. So we have to be able to, as leaders, whether you are a former leader or whether you are a leader in the chair now, we still have to be able to carry ourselves in such a way till we don't cause harm, hurt, or danger to the fraternal order. We don't give it a black eye. That's including me. So anything I say along these lines, I'm inclusive because I'm part of this, what I would consider this black, ancient, free, and accepting Mason movement. I'm part of that. And if you are a member of any of those Grand Lodges that carry the AF and AM logo on the end, or on those alphabets on the end, and if your Grand Lodge is predominantly African American, you are part of that movement too. The movement is not exclusive, it's inclusive of everyone whose Grand Lodge carries that marquee. When they got started, how they got started, you know what? I'll leave that to those others to debate. My debate, my focus is to make sure that we stay uh, not necessarily focused, but stay pointing it to the point of this is where we're trying to move forward to. And the thing is, we can't be asking people to recognize us. We can't be saying, we have to keep it, I would say 100% about who we are culturally, who we are as a people. We gotta push that whole agenda, and a lot of us don't even know the agenda. What is the agenda when we look at leadership? In your organization, what does that agenda look like? And I would say that to any Grand Lodge, to any Grand Chapter, to any chapter or lodge, we should all have agendas. And when I say agenda, not just a political agenda, but an agenda to move the whole entire organization forward. And we don't do that a lot of times. We get elected to positions and we tend to forget those who put us in the positions. We tend to look aside and say, you know what, I'm good, I'm here, I'm going to do it my way. No, you need to do it the way of the organization. Everything, just because you are the worshipful master, just because you are the grand worthy matron or the grand matron or the grand master, doesn't mean you have to push things in a certain way. I would say that as a leader, you should, have an understanding about what the craft wants, not what you just want, because it's not about you. As a leader, you are a servant to those who put you in that position. Your job is to uphold your constitution and your bylaws of your jurisdiction. And when I say that, that is clearly say that all jurisdictions, what's up family? What's up Matt? Constitution, nor do they have the same bylaws, nor do all Grand Lodges abide by the landmarks of Freemasonry. Some Grand Lodges don't even consider the landmarks of Freemasonry. They don't even use Maca jurisprudence. So we who are Masons, regardless of your jurisdiction, have to understand that, what governs your Grand Lodge may not necessarily be what governs mine. But if it's in writing, if it's put down in your constitution, also your bylaws, then you would know how your organization run. A lot of times Masons believe or think that all Grand Lodges are run the same. They are not ran the same. Trust me, all Grand Lodges and chapters are not ran the same. They're not. But because Masonry is what it is, in the brotherhood that we have, people believe that, and it's not. And we get leaders in positions, they don't know what they're doing. We get leaders in positions who don't want to uphold their own constitution nor their bylaws, and really tears down the organization. If you are a member of the Order of the Eastern Star or the Freemasons, and you can go back and take a look look at that and see if you are doing the things that you said you would or wouldn't do according to your oath or your obligation. Just take a look at that. And if you find yourself falling short, and if you find yourself, what's up, Rock 101? If you find yourself in that situation where you cannot, where you're not able to say, you know what, I've been doing good by my organization, you need to check yourself. You need to kind of go back and reinvent, go back and really engage and go word for word with your oath, with your obligation, however you want to term it up. Look at that and see if you are abiding by that. See if you're carrying yourself civil. When you meet another brother, when you meet another sister, even if you consider them whatever, are you carrying yourself in such a way that it's not going to be a black eye on the fraternity? Even I have to go and look that up. Even I have to go back and reread some of that stuff, because in our day-to-day journey, we get so tired of, we work, we doing other stuff, and we're just going through the motions a lot of times. But I would say to any brother, to any sister, just go back and take a look at your obligation. Go back and take a look at your oath that you said, what you would and wouldn't do, and take a look at that and see if you're even relatively close to any of that. Because I believe that all of us need to take those things a little bit more seriously than what we do. And look, I'm not throwing nobody under the bus. I'm not saying that, if you're watching this video that it's you. I'm just saying that myself included need to go back and take a look at that. And grown folks are going to do what grown folks are going to do. Let's have an understanding about that. People are going to be people. They're going to do what they want to do, and you're not going to change their mind. That's just humanality. However, if you are a part of the Eastern Star, if you are a part of the Freemason, and you can go back and take a look at that, man, it'll have you rethinking a whole lot of stuff. Are you on par? Do you uphold those daily values? I would say look at the mission statement of your Grand Lodge. Look at the mission statement of your Grand Chapter. What does that say? Are you part of that? Are you inclusive or exclusive? Just because you come up with an idea, you don't want to share your idea to move your organization forward. You just want to hold on to it and say, look what I got. And if you can't accept what I got, then you can't be a part of it. No. Masonry in the Order of the Eastern Star is bigger than that. And I say that over and over again because I think a lot of us think just because you may have come up with something, think because it's your idea that I'm going to leave it right here, I'm going to keep it right here. I'll tell you what, nobody gets anywhere in life without somebody else. You don't get nowhere in life by yourself. Jesus had 12 disciples, one betrayed him, okay? The Lone Ranger had Tonto, Tarzan had Jane, a monkey, and a boy. Nobody gets anywhere by themselves. And when we begin to understand that, we can do a lot. We can do a lot when we understand that. And everybody is not going to be on your team. And that's the truth. And we can gather those entities together, knowing that everybody is not going to be on my team. Got it. Knowing that when I, as a leader, have been elected to do things to help move this organization forward, there's going to be some dead weight on the wagon. Everybody's not going to want to push the wagons when the horse don't want to pull no more. So when I see that, I have to go back and read the obligation. Good afternoon, brother. Oh yeah, my brother from the east. I heard that. What's up, that brother Jackson? So we have to go back and take a look at that. Everybody don't want to push the wagon. A lot of people just want to get in and ride. And when the horses can't pull no more, they don't want to push no more. That's what you call dead weight. And sometimes you have to clear that dead weight. Sometimes you have to cut people loose in order to move your organization forward. And if you find that's where you're at in your lodge, in your chapter, then you do that, because it's lonely at the top. When you are an elected officer in your in your lodge or chapter, it's lonely because everybody is not going to want to follow you. They're not going to want to do or what you say. They don't see your vision. No, you can have the greatest idea to push the organization forward, to get more membership. Your idea can be right on point. But because it's not their idea, they're not going to support it. And that's why you have to go back and look at your obligation. That's why you have to go back and reevaluate what you said as an Eastern Star and as a Mason. And a lot of us don't want to do it because we find ourselves in such a ruckus or in such bad shape because we said these things, but here we are. You know, this brother needs your help. This sister needs your help, but you refuse to help. You know, that's you know, that's kind of like, really. And that's what bothers me. So I have to, as an individual, I've said it throughout this video, I have to go back and reevaluate the obligation. Take another look at it. You know, be it the Eastern Star or Freemason, because I was initiated in Eastern Star and I was initiated, passed, and raised to the degree of a Master Mason, sublime degree of a Master Mason. So we really have to go back and take a look at that. If you are not going to assist, aid, or help push your Wishmaster agenda, or your Grand Worthy Matron agenda, or your Grand Master's agenda, or your Worthy Matron agenda, if you're not going to push that agenda forward, that's going to help build up your lodge or your chapter or your state, if you're not going to help push the agenda, then you're a dead weight. You have taken the obligation and refused to even uphold it. That's what you have done. You add weight to the wagons, and when the horse got tired, you refused to push. So therefore, you don't grow, you don't move forward, you stay where you're at. It is said that 41% of people don't leave their state or move out of their state. They stay in the same neighborhood they was born in and grew up in. They don't leave. The world is huge. It's beautiful. We who claim to be Masons, Eastern Stars, claim that we're traveling, claim these things that this organization has built upon, tend to benefit less from them because we don't. We don't travel. We don't go outside of our jurisdiction. We don't do these things. And we find ourselves not moving, lack of a better term. We find ourselves stuck in the same place, stuck in the mud. You know, what I try to do at least once a year is to go to various states, jurisdictions outside of mine, and visit and enjoy their company. I mean, outside the state, not just in the state, but outside the state. And when I'm able to do that, then I can enjoy it. But we don't take a look at our obligation. We don't take a look at our oaths, and we stagnated. We're done. And then we find ourselves beefing with people within our own jurisdiction because you don't move around, because you don't go. You don't see another vision. You see just one vision. It's just your vision. You don't see the bigger picture of what Freemasonry is and is not. Because you don't leave. You don't go. You see other brothers, you turn the other way. You go the other way. And that is just the craziest thing. So you leaders, remember, you're going to be marked. And you're going to be about. So you might as well get ready. If you don't have tough skin, there's no need of you being a leader in this organization. If you don't have tough skin to be a Grand Master or elected officer, or even a Grand Worthy Matron, elected Grand Chapter officers, local officers, your skin have to be tough. Everybody is not going to be your friend. Everybody is not going to see be better off for it. You won't worry about who's on your side. I am my brother's keeper. Yes, I am. But Brother Eddie, no, I'm sorry, Brother Jackson, I'm sorry. Here's the thing. You may be your brother's keeper, and that's all great. But what about your brother being the brother's keeper also? What about him? You all in, but he's not. She's not. You all in. When they call you, you're on point. Yeah, I'm going to get it done. But what about when they're not When you call them, they're like, "Oh man, I don't even know, bro. I can't tell you, dog. I can't do that for you today, man. I'll holler at you another time." Boom. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you can be all in. Yes, you are your brother's keeper, but what about your brother being your brother's keeper? The same one you keep him, what about him? What about her? I can't leave the sisters out too. What about her? And that's really what I would hope that we have to take a look at. Man, it's hot in Houston. I'm sitting up under this air a little bit, and it's still kind of like a little warm. But that's what we have to take a look at. And once we grab that, we'll be better off for it. We'll be so much better off for it. And that is where I'm at in my journey. Understanding that everybody is not going to see your vision, everybody is not going to like you, but you have to keep moving forward. You have to keep pushing the narrative. You have to keep pushing what this organization is built upon. Those principles, brotherly love, relief, and truth. Okay, you have to keep pushing those things and standing on them, and you'll come out ahead. You will, because people will know this guy's really, or she is really standing on the principles of the organization. If you are truly your brother's keeper and your brother's keeper is truly working with you, yeah, iron sharpens iron. It sure does. And when we understand that and grab that, man, it's a beautiful thing. The problem is that most of us, not all, but most of us want to just, he ain't talking to me, she ain't talking to me, I ain't going to talk to them. I ain't going to call her back because, no, you know, that's the thing right there, is because we don't communicate. We want to put everything on Facebook. We want to tell the world this and that, but we can't pick up the phone and talk to that brother or that sister. And we tend to toss our obligations and oaths, or however you want to put it, to the side. No, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's not take the thing that holds us together as brothers and sisters and toss it aside. Let's not take your obligation and say, well, you're here to debate the difference between an oath and an obligation. But when we say those things, and you know what I'm talking about, we really got to look at what we're saying. And a lot of us don't look at what we're saying. And that's the part that gets me, because we don't look at what we're saying. We only consider it when it's beneficiary to us, and then it's, where I'm gonna come back to that, brother Maddox. Black people have to get over being jealous. Yeah, we do. So when I got here to Houston, and it's a huge airport. So, and I was looking for the car rental place, and there was a police officer there. And yeah, I had on my cap, and I'm asking for directions. And the first thing he said, "Hey, brother, come here, let me help you." So I went over. He said, "Hey, I'm from such and such and such and such, Grand Lodge, Texas." I said, "Great, I'm from such and such and such, John Jones, Grand Lodge, California." He said, "Oh, yeah, you know what? Here's what you need to do." He didn't care about jurisdiction. He saw another brother. This was a Mexican brother too. Big shout out. He saw, he in turn saw another brother and pointed me in the right direction. As simple as that may seem to some, it meant a lot to me that person who doesn't know me saw me, seen me as another brother and pointed me in the right direction. And I believe that we should do that for all brothers. I believe we should do that for all sisters. And that is the unique thing about being my brother's keeper or my sister's keeper. That's the unique thing about taking that obligation, that oath that we take. That is that unique thing that we do. However, we allow our own egos, as Brother Maddox put out, get in the way. Oh, he ain't in my jurisdiction. I ain't gonna help him. She's not in my chapter. I don't care about her. Come on, guys. No, we can do better than that. We have to do better than that. If this organization, whatever jurisdiction you're in, if it's going to survive, then you have to be out there. You have to be out front. You have to hold up the birthday banner. You have to be that guy, that woman. You have to be. And that's the thing. We have to look at that. We have to be able to grab hold of that. And but some of us don't, because we do have this in us. We do have that ego in us. And that's another thing. If being an enter apprentice, and I'm going to go into the little esoteric thing with you real quick. So as above, so as below, that is true. That is so true, but we get so caught up and we miss that. So as above, so as below. Listen to the prayer that you pray when you were a Christian. You know, um, read that prayer back over. Same prayer that Christ prayed. Our Father which art in heaven, thy will be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Listen to that. And think about what you said and how you was positioned when you said it. And when you were able to grab hold of that, you'd be like, ooh, that's interesting. But a lot of us don't. We don't. And we miss some of the jewels in Freemasonry and what Freemasonry has as a jewel, because we're not able to comprehend that. We get the pushback, or may I say the push black. We miss that. We're so caught up in some other stuff till we can't really grab Freemasonry. We can't really grab the Order of the Eastern Star, because we're too busy pushing black. And when I say pushing black, that is clearly to say that we're so hard up trying to be something we are not, till we're missing the very thing that we're trying to be. If you're trying to be a Mason, if you're trying to be an Eastern Star, the best Eastern Star, the best Mason you can be the example. Take leadership, be the example. You don't necessarily have to be elected to a position to be a leader. Let's have an understanding. You can be the example of a great leader by being a great follower. You can be the example of being a great leader by being a great follower. I'm not saying be blind. I'm just saying that when you follow someone, have an understanding of who you're following. I've had many interactions with the so-called mainstream Masons and never ever had one deny me. Pre-HA, on the other hand, that is a different story. They are all jealous that we are free and independent. That can be so. Rock 101, that can be very much so true. And I can't deny that. I will not deny that. I've had more issues with those who are PHA, or even in my own jurisdiction, or even outside my jurisdiction. I had more issues with us than I've had with other Masons. And that's the thing. That is the thing. Hold on just a second. I gotta get this real quick. How can you be a Muslim and go to church at the same time? I'm gonna answer that question. How can I be a Muslim and go to church at the same time? I'm not mad at the messenger. Hear me clearly. I'm not mad at the messenger. Yes, I go to church and I go to the mosque. I'm not mad at Muhammad, nor am I mad at Christ. Both of them have a message for the people, and the message is the same. It is us who bring in all of who's a Christian, or about a brother who's a Muslim. We bring in all of that perceived notion, and we shit on each other. Plain and simple. That's what we do, without actually going and finding out for yourself. So yeah, I wanted to know what the Muslim was all about, so I went to the mosque, and I understood the difference between the Shiite, the Nation of Islam. There is truly a difference. However, they don't consider themselves a Shiite, or there are a couple of other sects of Muslims out there, But what I've done, I went to the Nation of Islam, NOI, and I like that. And I like it because I understand their teachings. And then I had to go get a Quran. So now, not only can I fellowship with my brothers who are Nation of Islam? I have brothers who are Shiite Muslims and other types, and I'm finding out so much. You know, I've been in the church all my life, so I know what the Christians do. I know, you know, you go to the Baptist conference, you go to your, I know what the Presbyterians do, but now I know what the Muslims do, and so it's easier for me to go between. Because I'm not mad at Muhammad for bringing a great message. I'm not mad at Christ for bringing a great message. I'm not mad. I just have an understanding where I can go and travel. That's all I'm saying. Now, can you do the same? Can you do the same? That's a question you have to ask yourself. Can you do the same? And if you find yourself not able to do the same, then you have issues. So I hope that answers your question, Brother White. I hope that answers your question. Hold on a second. Good afternoon. Okay, got that. Okay. All right. To my good brothers, you a better man than some brothers have issues with their own self. Remember what the craft said, to make a good man better, you cannot make a bad man. You are that was a good one. And that's the thing, you're already a good man when you come into this organization. And you're right, you can't make a bad man better. That person has to already be working on himself. That person has to already be on the track field working out to run the marathon. That person has to already be there. But when he's not there, when she's not there, whew, yeah, we got something in here, I'm telling you. Oh, by the way, I'm going to share this with you. I'm wearing it. Brother Michael from Chicago, Illinois. I tell you what, bro. About 2 weeks ago, maybe about a week ago when I was in Chicago, Brother Amos, appreciate the love, bro. And this brother, he hooked me up. I want to say thank you for the gift. I appreciate it. You know, just being in your presence was enough for me. But the gift is just extra. It's just icing on the cake. And being in your presence that day, Brother Michael, did it for me. And I just want to say thank you. And I appreciate you in the hard work that you do in Freemasonry. And brothers, I would say support he has Masonic shirts and things like that. I got this shirt from him too. See if you can see this shirt. Just want to send him a big shout out. I got this Masonic shirt from him, you know, and I have several other shirts from Brother Michael. And I just want to say thank you for the gifts. And hey, you know what? If you're ever out west, look me up, bro. If you're in the vicinity within 100 miles, if you are within 100-mile radius from San Diego to LA, and you want to hang out, look me up. We can do that. That's unless I'm working, but we can do that. That's where I'm at. Freemasonry is neither Christianity, Islamic, or Hebrew. It is open. Yes, you're absolutely right. It is neither of those things, and that's the beauty of it. But when we as individual brings those preconceived notions into the fraternal order, we can cause a lot of harm. I put my order in for the jewel, the jersey. Oh, okay. Yeah, bro, that jersey is nice, ain't it? That jersey is nice, I tell you. But that's what happens a lot of time. We come in with our own preconceived notions, you know, or I'm a Jew, or I'm a Christian, or I'm Islam, and I'm becoming a Mason. But we have these preconceived notions, and Masonry don't care anything about your religious belief. But you have to believe in a supreme being. It didn't put a title on your religious beliefs. It doesn't do that. And that's what I like. Grand Lodges don't come into existence through charters. Freemasonry Unlocked. What's up, bro? You're right. Grand Lodges do not come into existence through charters. A lot of people believe that they do, but they don't. This is not even on my radar today, but since Freemason Unlocked threw it out there. Brother, I was checking out one of your videos the other day. Boy, you had me cracking up. But you're right. Freemasons, or the Grand Lodge, do not do that, brother I gotta get that out the way. Hold on just a second. This is kind of bothering me, right? Boom. Bothering me right there. I think I can bring that back up. Some of the things I see late. Grand lodges do not come into existence through charters. They don't. And the preconceived notions that they do, because a lot of people, first thing they want to say, where did your Grand Lodge get its charter from? No one charters a Grand Lodge. So how can you call somebody's Grand Lodge clandestine or illegal or whatever when nobody charters a Grand Lodge? And then, some lodges believe because you got a non-profit status from a state, that's your charter. No, 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 no. Don't do that to yourself. That 501c just says that you're a non-profit organization. Simple as that. It has nothing to do with you masonically. So you don't have to, hear me clearly, you don't necessarily have to have a 501c3 to be charitable unless you're trying to get some kickback or another. That's any organization. You don't have to. Hell, I can be charitable right now if I go outside and see somebody homeless and just throw them a couple of dollars. That's charitable. Come on. That's just keeping it where it's at. Yes, the Grand Lodge of New Jersey was organized by Master Masons. Yeah, and it was only a few. It wasn't a lot of them either. They didn't have enough to proclaim that they had 3 lodges. And if I'm not mistaken, there was only a handful of brothers, so they didn't have 3 lodges as is required today to organize a Grand Lodge. So I know I'm sort of getting off the topic, the subject, as far as what the headliner is for this particular video is your oath as a Mason and Eastern Star. But let's just touch on that for just a second. How is it that we who are Masons can tell one group of people that you're clandestine because your Grand Lodge wasn't organized this way, versus those same people who you say that you're willing to recognize, knowing that how they got started was just as foul? They was just as foul. But you would try to hold the other organization up to a higher standard, per se, a higher standard, And you got to realize who set these standards. Everybody want to say the Mother Grand Lodge of England. England is not, the Grand Lodge of England is not the end all in Freemasonry, people. It is not. And we need to understand that. They're not they're oh, well, you have to be recognized by the Grand Lodge of England. No, you do not have to be recognized by the Grand Lodge of England or by PHA or by mainstream Grand Lodge to be considered a Grand Lodge or to be considered recognized. That's a two-way street, and a lot of us get that all mixed up. A lot of us do. And I'm gonna get on another subject too in just a few minutes, but please understand this. Just because PHA, mainstream Grand Lodges, don't recognize your Grand Lodge, it doesn't make you clandestine. Grand Lodge of California does not recognize the Grand Lodge of Tennessee. And both of those are mainstream. But you better not dare say that the Grand Lodge of Tennessee is clandestine. Come back. Oh, so pop-up Grand Lodges. People talk about pop-up Grand Lodges that, look, if your Grand Lodge, if you want to talk about pop-up Grand Lodges, if your Grand Lodge was organized 20 years ago, 30 years ago, someone may consider your Grand Lodge to be pop-up. If your Grand Lodge was built 4 years ago, somebody may consider your Grand Lodge a pop-up Grand Lodge. If your Grand Lodge is not over 50 years old, somebody may consider your Grand Lodge a pop-up Grand Lodge. So when we talk about people having pop-up Grand Lodges, we have to, why? Why did they go out and create another Grand Lodge instead of going to another jurisdiction? You have to ask that question too. Okay, Rock 101, you said PHA beat the Black Masons to the punch regarding recognition, UGLE and so-called mainstream, but when they did, PHA lost its soul. Yeah, people can lose their soul, by wanting certain things from other people. You can give in a lot, you sure can. But going back to this topic of pop-up Grand Lodges, You know, you have to ask yourself, why did those individuals, those 21, those hundreds, those 50s, how many? It doesn't even, I'm not even into the numbers, but why did they leave your jurisdiction or anybody else's jurisdiction and start another Grand Lodge? Why did they do that? You have to ask yourself that as a Grand Master, as a Worshipful Master. Why did these lodges leave? Why did these sisters leave this Grand Chapter and go start another Grand Chapter? What is it that you were doing wrong? You know, and some people say, well, the Worshipful Master had an ego and he couldn't know. You know what? That's a two-way street. That's a two-way street. And I'm not going to put it all on the Worshipful Master. I'm not going to put it all on the Grand Master, the worthy matron, or grand matron, why people leave. But you have to ask yourself that. If these brothers and sisters leave and going to start their own jurisdictions, why are they doing that? Is it truly about the power, so perceived power? Because there's no power. Is it truly because that Grand Master did not want to follow their own rules and regulations? Maybe that Grand Master was just doing some stuff with some sisters and they was like, I don't want to do that. You know, maybe that Grand Master didn't want to follow his own rules. Maybe that Grand Matron just was like, nah, she was just so ratchet. Refused to leave. Oh, I'm not going to leave. I'm going to stay right here. You know, that's you. What I'm not going to do, I'm going to try not to do it, is hop on that bandwagon. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Does John G. Jones have regular Blue House lodges? Any any lodge that has a charter from a Grand Lodge is a legitimate lodge, regardless of what anyone says. According to my jurisdiction, and I'm speaking strictly, I can't speak for everybody, but I'm going to tell you this. According to my jurisdiction, its constitution, its bylaws, if a lodge has a charter from a Grand Lodge, then that lodge is legit according to that Grand Lodge because they issue its charter. It's plain and simple, regardless of what I say. It's cut and dry. I saw something else over here. All right, when my lodge left and formed a jurisdiction, we did not seek credit creating another lodge with another lodge in the state. We researched and went, oh yeah, you did. I remember that, brother Rock 101. I remember you and I had that conversation, you know. And I've had a lot of conversations with brothers who wanted to or who felt that they needed to start their own jurisdiction or who wanted to start their own lodge. I've had quite a few conversations with them. And I tell them this: if you're not happy where you're at and you feel that you need to move, well, move. If you're not happy where you're at and you feel the need to move, move. But before you make that decision, make sure you've covered all of your bases. And when I say that, make sure, hey, you know what, Grandmaster? This ain't working out for me. You know what, Grand Matron? This right here is not working out for me. Maybe you can come to some happy medium to have a better understanding of what your jurisdiction is all about. Because every jurisdiction don't operate the same. They don't. They have their own separate rules and their own separate constitution. They have things that they will use out of Mackies and things they won't use out of Mackies. So you can't put all Grand Lodges, you can't put all Grand Chapters in the same box. You can't do it. It's not going to happen. It's not going to look good because that's not how all of them operate. And everybody does not abide by all of the landmarks of Freemasonry. They don't. And even myself, when I came to realize that, then I was like, okay. So I had to go back to my Grand Lodge when I was sitting on the Jurisprudence Committee and look at our Constitution, look at our bylaws, and formulate it to where it's going to fit the need for our jurisdiction. Your Constitution, your bylaws has to fit the need for your jurisdiction. Ooh, had to set up a little bit, you know. And that's the thing a lot of brothers don't do, a lot of sisters don't do. You know, a lot of you still living off of what you did in the past. You know, I remember when we used to do this. No, I can't live on that. I can't live on what we used to do. I need to live on what we're doing now. You know, are you as a lodge, as a chapter, supporting someone in your area that they know that they can go and get resources from you? Oh, why we have so many ancient free and accepting Mason organizations move away from the black ritual to the Lester? You know what? I didn't personally know that there was a black Masonic ritual out there. I didn't, you know, Rock 101, I didn't. Enlighten me on that. When you say move away from the black ritual to the Lesters or maybe even the Duncans, or there's quite a few other rituals out there. Some Grand Lodges have their own rituals, and they may be a little different from yours. I know I have 5 different Masonic rituals, maybe 6, and all of them are just a little different. Black black cover rituals. Oh, okay, got you. You know, so it I can't answer that. I don't know the answer to that one. You know, but I do know that a lot of the ancient free and accepted Masons, they use Lesters. Now they have their own reasons for using Lesters, and I would tell you the reason. Well, my Grand Lodge, we have our own ritual. We do, but we also look at other rituals. I would say that, you know, and you should. You should. You just shouldn't be so closed-minded to think that you're the it factor, and you're not. Money, money, yeah, money. Mm, my goodness. And look at that. That sounds like Duncan, which is illegal for any Grand Lodge to use an official monitor. Well, you know what, Freemason Unlocked? Some Grand Lodges only use Duncan. We don't. In my jurisdiction, we don't use Duncans. Like I said, we have our own ritual, and we have some other rituals we look at. But, you know, Duncans is out there. This is why it's important for Masons and Eastern Stars. This is why it's important to know the works, because now you can go order a Duncan's, a Lester. You can pick this up anywhere, anywhere, and then people can read it, comprehend it, Q&A it. They in, or they may think they're in, until you have experienced the process of becoming. No, you ain't gonna have it. Duncan has illustrations that are inappropriate. Yeah, that is true. You know, that is true. Hold on, I'm gonna get this here. I think somebody charming in real quick. Let's see. Boom. How did you figure out who? Anyway, so um, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, brothers, just to get back on it. So I would say this to the brothers of the Black Ancient Free and Accepting Masons and in our movement, and that's inclusive. It's not exclusive. So when I say Black Ancient Free and Accepting Masons, I'm talking to all of my brothers and sisters of the craft who have that marquee, Ancient Free and Accepted, behind their Grand Lodge. Your jurisdiction use Lester's, but can't use it reading it verbatim to get into any other our lodges. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, some do. But back to what I was saying in regards to our movement. When I say our movement, that's inclusive. So when I'm talking Black, Ancient, Free, and Accepting Mason, that is that movement. That movement. That movement belongs to no one, including myself. That movement has no leadership. When I say no leadership, that is clearly say it has no grand jurisdiction that says this is the Grand Lodge of Black, Ancient, Free, and Accepting Masons. Because Black, Ancient, Free, and Accepting Masons, there are many Grand Lodges. many Grand Lodges with a lot of Grand Masters. And that's being inclusive, not exclusive. I don't care what you say or who you say you are, because this body, as far as Black, Ancient, Free, and Accepted Masons, has been around for a very, very long time. Very long time. So it is not for me to say. I will say this though. It is what it is. You know, you can take that or let it alone. And that's truth. This movement right here, it's not going nowhere. It's not going nowhere. Does the lineage of John G. Jones matter anymore? Ooh, does the lineage of John G. Jones matter anymore? It depends on who you're talking to. It's just that simple. It depends on who you're talking to. Because, and this is my own personal opinion, your Grand Lodge should have archives of your history, of your grand sessions, quarterly session. It should have that. And if it doesn't have that, or no one in your jurisdiction has that information, then you're going to have an issue. You know, you're going to have issues then. And that's the problem with a lot of our Black, Ancient, Free, and Accepted Masons. A lot of them don't have it. A lot of them can't produce how they got started and by whom they got started. A lot of them can't produce that, so this is what you get a lot of times. And so I'm going to tell you, I believe lineage counts. Everybody has to have a start. And when you talk about lineage, you're clearly saying the beginning. How did you get started? And John G. Jones didn't start anything by himself, so let's have an understanding about that. When John G. Jones started my Grand Lodge in New York and fell out of short, we declared ourselves independent of his Masonic Congress. According to the history of John G. Jones, just started another Grand Lodge in New York, laughing out loud. Okay? So when your Grand Lodge left the General Grand Masonic Congress, you still kept going. That's another thing. Ham Grand Lodge. Okay. So let's take a look at this here. The General Grand Masonic Congress does not run your Grand Lodge. People, jeez. I'm going to give me some lemonade. I'll be right back. So look, the General Grand Masonic Congress does not run your Grand Lodge. Period. You know, and we have to see that. And when we talk about John G. Jones establishing Grand Lodges, he did not establish Grand Lodges by himself. So we have to understand that too. And if your history has him recorded as far as assisting or aiding in the building or the organization or organizing your Grand Lodge, that's great. That is something to keep in really honor. You know, there are about, I would say there are 6 General Grand Masonic Congresses now. I will say that, and I know there are 6 General Grand Masonic Congresses, people. 6. And John G. Jones didn't start all of them. Some claim that they are the it factor. John G. Jones established theirs. I'm okay with that. If that's what you want to claim, that's what you want to hold to, I'm okay with that. That's your claim. You took a fork and put it in there. Boom. I'm gonna get back to that, Rock. You know, if you're claiming that, more power to you. You know, but the General Grand Masonic Congress does not run your Grand Lodge. Let's have an understanding. General Grand Masonic Congress functions. Its primarily function is to unite Grand Lodges and to make sure that Grand Lodges are on the same task, the same page. I'm gonna get that one, Maddox. So when we are able to bring that full circle, you'll have a much better General Grand Masonic Congress if they would stay out of the state business. You know, allow the Grand Master to run their state. And if the Grand Master is not doing what they're supposed to do within their state, and you, who is the president of the General Grand Masonic Congress, knows this, then you have a right to say, since you can't abide by your own rules and regulations, therefore, we're going to pull recognition from you. But that doesn't tell that Grand Lodge that they don't no longer exist. That's crazy. As a matter of fact, like Mike Tyson said, that's ludicrous. Okay, so I'm going back up to what Rock 101 said. Correct, but John G. Jones was the it factor. He held the tight reins. Yes, up until 1914, we can say clearly there was a Southern and Western Masonic jurisdiction that was tight like glue. Yes, it was because of Jones. Jones was a pet bull. He didn't play. You know, he didn't play. And yes, you know, other Grand Lodges said, you know, I didn't want you, boom, boom, boom. But let me tell you, 19 up until his death, he was the it factor. History shows that. History shows that. And yes, he did help to organize the Shriners as we know it today. The ancient Arabic order nobles of the Mystery Shrine is clearly a John G. Jones thing. And I'm not just going to say Jones by himself, but he was the catalyst. He was that charge person. He was that it factor. You know, he had the connections to organize the Shriners as we know it today. Oh, what happened to the live feed? I couldn't tell you, bro. I didn't even know I was going off. You know, going live sometimes can really kind of mess you up. Depends on where you're at. Yes, John G. Jones was the man. And this is the thing. A lot of brothers, like Christopher Taft, like Brother Dante Taylor, Brother Afalo, have done their research. And there are others who have really dug in and gotten a lot of information about Jones and really put it out there. And we have to honor Jones. And I say we have to honor him because, you know, for so long, people have been really kind of dumping on the ancient free and accepted Masons to we have to kind of fight back a little bit. And when I say fight back, I'm not necessarily saying put your fist up, but know who you are. That simple as that. When you know who you are, people kind of back up off you a little bit, you know, because you ain't falling for the okie doke. So I'm just coming to you live from Houston, baby. You know, just hey, it's hot out there, and I would suspect that it's almost 2 o'clock, you know, and the next time I do a live broadcast, I might be somewhere else. It won't be in Houston. I'll be somewhere else. But let me tell you, I'm enjoying my stay here. Very true. You know your roots. So I'm going to say this to all of the Black, ancient, free, and accepted Masons. As we continue to press forward and to unite, let's be mindful to respect each other. To pick up the phone and maybe give a brother a call so you won't have misunderstandings. And I say that out of love. And I say that because I'm truly your brother's keeper. And for those of you who know me, those of you who I've actually talked to on the phone and met in person, you should know me. And that's from me to you. Whether you be Prince Hall, Modern, Free, or any other letters behind your Masonic name. Hey, I get a lot of Prince Hall brothers calling me. I do. And I appreciate that. I get a lot of brothers, ancient, free, and accepted Masons calling me. I get brothers, modern, and free calling me. I have a brother, Dwight Muhammad from the UK. We've even talked. So we have to understand who we are in the big scheme of things. If we can just respect each other, that's including me too. You know, the ideal is that when we are talking about somebody, we always got to look in the mirror. Plain and simple. So, until I see you again on this live feed, as always, I hope you got something out of it. To my sisters, of the Order of the Eastern Star, you know what? You are fairest among thousands. You are altogether lovely. And trust and believe you are queens of the South. Until we meet again, peace and be well, and keep your light on and stay out them bushes. I'm out. Oh, all right. How can you burn the how how can you burn the bridge with us, PHA, when there are so many of us who want to bond and correct? Oh, okay, all right. Okay. So I'm not going nowhere. So I was signing off, but boom, Lee Hall. Okay, I'm gonna answer this one, brother. I don't, me personally, and it's a lot of us, we don't want to burn bridges with people that look like us. But it's people who look like us, who duke on us, who shit on us, who look at us foul and say, you know what, you're not my brother. I can't talk masonically with you. I can't do that. And that is where we have the differences. And don't sign off, starting to go like that is where we have the differences at. You know, we can't, when I see a Prince Hall brother who says that he can't talk to me because I'm clandestine and I look like him, he don't even know me from anybody else, but he'll rather tell me that. That's, man, I don't know. No, I know. We need our leadership, those grandmasters, to step up. You know, you're a Prince Hall grandmaster, you need to step your game up. You're an ancient, free, and accepted grandmaster, you need to step your game up and build that bridge. That's what they need to do. And the membership will follow. But if you are a leader and you know that your membership is foul, calling people bitches and everything else, but you're the grandmaster and you see this and you don't say anything, then there's an issue. There's an issue. I gotta plug this up. I gotta pull it in a little closer, brothers. Then I gotta plug up. Hold on just a second. Boom. Yeah, I had to plug up. Oh, I just froze. Come on back. Oh, okay, I'm back. I'm back. So that's how we have to consider that. I think I just went sideways or something. I did something. I don't know. There you go. I'm back. Woo! Know what's happening with that. All right. So that's where that's at. We, you know, that's how that thing has to happen. It happens through leadership. Your grandmaster allows this to happen. You as an individual keep doing it over and over again. No, we're not going to come together. No, we're not going to respect each other. But it starts with me and it starts with you. And when we can do that, then we can build that bridge. But that's going to be left up to us as individuals to really circumscribe themselves and really take their working tools and put it to work. That's what's going to have to happen. Oh, Brother Rock said we didn't start it. And it's true. You know, and look at history. And history teaches me a lot. It teaches us all a lot. The ideal is that, yes, John G. Jones may have been suspended, expelled from Prince Hall, PHA. That was 100 and some years ago. We're looking at almost 120 years ago, thereabouts. But yet, this man is dead and gone. And we can't even get over that. That says a lot. That says a lot, that we can't get over the mere fact that this man is dead and gone, and we're still talking about him. Plain and simple. We should be actually saying, how can we unite? How can we come together? How can we build this relationship? Okay, so Lee Hall, you say, I understand that my organization doesn't recognize your organization. However, when I speak to brothers and I try to explain to them that not all of us are like that mentally, they then try to put me in a box. Brother, that's the fight that all of us have. If you are a bridge builder, that's going to be your fight. Hear me clearly, Brother Lee Hall. If you are a bridge builder and you come across somebody, I don't care what jurisdiction they're in, and you're trying to tell them that, hey, bro, you know what, I'm not, you can't put me in that box with everybody. You're going to have issues. because everybody is not willing to come out of the box. You know, everybody is not willing to build that bridge. And you're going to find yourself alone sometimes. You know, you hanging out with your brothers, and another brother come up to you, but he's ancient, free, and accepted Mason. You greet him with the grip. You give it all to him. Boom, boom. You giving it to him, and they look at you like, why you do that, bro? That's the issue you gonna have. And no, not all the Prince Hall brothers are like that, and not all of us are like that. When I say us, I'm speaking of the black, ancient, free, and accepted Masons. No, but that's the issue right there. Okay, does your Grand Lodge regularly with none? Okay. Okay, so does your Grand Lodge organization, does your organization regale with non-Prince Hall Masons? I don't know if that question is to me or not. And then it says, so why belong to an organization that's racist against other black organizations? Ooh. Rock 101. You know, me and you have actually met. I can't even touch that. I can't. I can't touch that. No, it wouldn't help the PHA brother. Bruh, I can't touch that. I'm now official candidate to join Freemasonry. Just curious, while the initial joining Mason, do you learn anything about the ancient black Egyptian, where it started, or is it more Europeanized? Oh, Big Blake, what's up, bro? Rock 101, I can't touch that, bro. I can't. I'm just honest with you on that one. I'm gonna try. But getting back to Big Blake, I hope I said his name right. You know, I believe from my own experience, from my own research, you know, Masonry is a African thing, period. And I encourage you, once you become a Mason, once you go through that whole process, do your own research. Don't just go by what somebody tell you. Do your own research and understand who you are in this big picture. I don't care whether you join mainstream. I don't care if you join PHA, PHO, Ancient, Free, and Accepted. I don't care what the name of your Grand Lodge is. Do your own research and understand who you are in the big picture. Yes, do that for yourself. And brother, when you do, then you'll know for yourself. And nobody can take that away from you. I've learned that lesson. Nobody can take what I've gotten, what I've learned for myself through my own experience, through reading, all of that. You can't take that. I don't care what you say about me. You can't take it. Period. Rock, Rock, I want to go back and touch that. I would like to name a few other groups that are also racist against the black organization. KKK, skinheads. Rock! Boy, you killing me. Oh my goodness, boy. Masonry doesn't have a copyright or a trademark on its symbols. I joined my organization out of the fact that the brothers I met was good persons. He told me that he was PHA. That was cool. However, its own. There you go. Brother Lee Hall, you're going to be that individual that build that bridge. Like Rock 101 said though, well, when he come across, Rock, help me out, bruh. You said, and I'm gonna paraphrase this because I don't want to misquote you, so I'm gonna paraphrase what you said. You said, blow up the whole damn bridge. I ain't gonna ever forget that. However, I would say for anyone who's trying to build that bridge with us as Masons, build a damn bridge. Build a bridge and get over your feelings. Build a bridge and and let it all hang out. But until we do that, we're going to forever have a misunderstanding. And that's all it is. That is all it clearly is a true misunderstanding. And man, it's just, and it's sad. It's sad. You know, but hey, we're all workers in the quarries, right? So we're all masons, and masons are workers. They are builders. Your lodge is the quarries, right? So that's where you go and start your work at, right? So when you come out in the community, regardless of your jurisdiction, when you come out in the community, they don't know anything about your jurisdiction. All they know is that you are a workman, that you are a mason, and you should carry yourself as such, including men too, because that's what you represent. We don't have the misunderstanding. PHA. Rock, you're killing me. You're killing me, man. Well, I'm gonna say this. You know what? I ain't gonna touch that one either. I'm not gonna even touch that one. You know, and Rock, I would tell you, Brother Rock, 101, get with Brother Lee Hall. Have that conversation with him and see what comes up. See what happens. You never know. He may be a better friend than some of your lodge brothers. Do that. Try that. Not all have that. Don't put things in a box. Brother Rock 101 and Brother Lee Hall, I would suggest that you two somehow get in contact with each other and have a dialogue. Have that conversation. Two black men have the conversation. There's nothing wrong with that. Do it on the phone. No texting. Don't text. Don't text, because texting is so dry. But when you're on the phone and you can have that conversation, or maybe face to face, I don't know. You know, it can be a lot better. Okay. Well, Rock, you and Lee Hall needs to have a conversation, bruh. That's all I gotta say. And you said that if Brother Lee Hall were to attend any of our functions or come to our lodge, he would be put out of PHA. That's real talk. That may be true. But that's something that Brother Brother Lee Hall has to deal with. That's something he has to deal with. And that, I'm gonna say this here, and that is the difference with most of the black ancient free and accepted Masons. If you knock on the door and you can prove yourself to be a Mason, and there are certain things that we do and you know what they are, you are more than likely welcome to sit in that lodge. You probably are more than welcome to sit in that lodge. It's just that simple. It's not even complicated. It's just that simple. On the other hand, if you are a member of Prince Hall, you're only going to allow mainstream or your other Prince Hall brothers to come to your lodge. That I know too. But that's something you guys got to work on. That's a Prince Hall thing. That has nothing to do with me. That's something they can. You know, that's something they got to work on. And Rock, I will have to agree with you on that one. It's possible that Brother Lee Hall probably would get kicked out, you know, if he did that. But as I said, that's something that they got to work on. And that's another thing. Somebody was telling me something about Bruh Fest. Two brothers can go and have coffee or sit at a restaurant and still meet on the same level. Hey, Brother Jackson, that's where you start at, right? That's where you start. Right there. Go have coffee, shit. That's what Masons meet at anyway, on the outside. That's real. That's real talk right there. I remember reading from a book that during the ancient times, Roman and Greeks and Arabs destroyed all of the ancient books. Yes, but brother, there's still some books out there. Go get them. Go get them. Yes, I'm aware of what I swore to do. Now, to my point, if I wanted to build a bridge, I don't necessarily have to attend a lodge meeting. I can meet you outside of the lodge. My point, okay. That's where it starts at. Rock, I tell you this. I'm going to say this here to Brother Rock 101 because I know him. He's right that you don't necessarily have to visit a lodge to build that bridge. He's absolutely correct. On the other hand, you're saying that it should be open. We are black men, and it should be open to me and to you to fellowship within a large setting. I got that. Everybody have their rules, and that's their rules. That's why I've come to the point. I'm not looking to visit a Prince Lodge. I've done that. Oh, yeah, I've done that. So I'm not looking to say I need to come visit your lodge. Black women, I'm looking at us as far as building a bridge. And when we can build a bridge, we can cross over troubled waters. The ideal is making the connection. And Brother Jackson is right. And so is Brother Lee Hall, and so is you, Rock 101. The ideal is building a bridge. Let's have that. You know what? I ain't got to go to Starbucks, but whatever. You may be the best friend among any Masons I may have, including in my lodge. But we have to do that. We have to go outside the box. We can't put people in a box, and we ourselves have to step outside the box. Because what we do is we lock ourselves in. I'm a this, I'm a that. What? That's being inclusive and not, that's being exclusive and not inclusive. You know, I am this, I am that. No, I'm a Mason, period. When my lodge was searching for a home, we checked out PHA, and when we were told that we have to cut all ties, the hell with that. Rock, Rock, I can agree. Whew, I can agree. I'm bored. I can agree to that. You know, that's all I gotta say. That's and yeah. I yield the floor. I yield the floor. Yeah, I can yield the floor to you on that one, Rock. Yes, if you join Prince Hall, that's truth. Now, it is up to you as a man. It is up to you as a woman whether you want to accept that or not. And I refuse to accept cutting ties. That's me. That's how I get down. Now, other people can say something different, but I refuse to cut ties with anyone that looks like me. Now, individually wise, if you hurt me, I will cut the tie with you. Okay? Individually wise. But as a people, I ain't cutting no ties. That's just me. That's just how I get down. I heard ancient Egypt, there were 306 degrees of masonry, but when I got in, boy, you going somewhere where I wasn't planning on going today. And that is true. There's 306 degrees in the complete circle of Freemasonry. It's truth. However, in the European style of Freemasonry, there's 33. And most of us, if not all of us, practice exclusively the European style of Freemasonry. The York Rite, the Scottish Rite, the Shrine, your 33rd. Most of us practice that. Now, there are some that has what we call the primitive rites of Memphis Mizram, or just the primitive rites of Memphis, which take you into those other degrees of Freemasonry. And if you have traveled outside of the country, you would know for yourself that Masonry is broad, is big, and it has many degrees within it. There are many degrees within Freemasonry outside of the United States in its cultural premises. There is. In addition to being healed, laughing out loud, see, we could not accept that because there was nothing wrong with our degrees. Well, there's nothing wrong with your degrees. You just had to cut ties with your brothers. That's what they're saying. And once again, I would tell you this, Brother Rock 101, and to Brother Lee Hall, I would actually reach out and have that conversation. I would, regardless of what my Grand Lodge would say, and it's not being disrespectful, but I'm a man first. I'm a man first in everything I do, taking care of my family, and all I do, I'm a man first. Then, being part of this order, I'm a Freemason by title. Okay? That's it. Let's have that cup of coffee. Let's have that cup of coffee with with donuts or whatever, and see where it takes me. The primitive rights part. We have discussed this over the past week, bruh. Yep. Brother Rock, you're okay. Yep. Yeah, Brother Lee Hall, I think, yeah, we did. Yep. And there are quite a few of us who are black, ancient, free, and accepted Masons who has gotten to the primitive rights side of Masonry. There are quite a few of us. Now check this out. Also, don't let the European Grand Lodges fool you like if they don't know about those primitive rights. Hear me clearly. Don't let mainstream Freemasonry fool you. They know more about the primitive rights than you ever thought they would. Don't let them fool you. Okay, so we have a conversation after he goes back to his corner, I go back to mine. No, when you have a conversation, it doesn't necessarily mean that you go back to your corner, he goes back to his. When you have the conversation, you're going to build a bridge. You're going to build a relationship with that brother. Rock 101, Brother Lee Hall, that's what you guys are going to do. So you won't be going back to your own little box. You're going to be outside that, man. That's what you're going to do. As I said for the third time, don't let them fool you that they don't know what primitive rights are. They do. Trust me on that one. Oh, they have known about the primitive rights? Check out the College of Rights. Yeah, them boys know about the primitive rights. It's the idea that we who are, it's about us. We're just now getting into the primitive rights. And I'm not saying that we never knew about it. But what happened, it was never passed down. There are brothers in my jurisdiction. He showed me his, when I told him I had my primitive rights, he pops out a card. I'm like, how long? Because they don't know how to talk about it. Oh, the ritual. Yeah, I'm familiar with I'm familiar with that one. Yeah. I'm familiar with that particular ritual. But that's the funniest thing. A lot of brothers don't know how to talk about the primitive rights. They don't. They may have had the degree for years, but because they don't practice the right, they don't. And I want to send a big shout out to Brother Boris. Him. I've had plenty of conversations in regards to the primitive rights, and some don't like him, some love him, whatever. But between he and I and Sovereign Bay, it had these conversations in regards to the primitive rights and what they mean and how to operate them, and we've had that journey, and I tell any brother, when you have those degrees and you put them degrees in effect, man, it's a beautiful thing. Brother Rock 101, but they won't let PHA practice the primitive rights. But of course, some will do, and so undercover. That's true. That is true. There are some Prince Hall brothers who are part of the primitive rights, but they are not telling their Grand Lodge. That is true. That's true. And I know some. And I was pretty shocked. Some mainstream brothers too. Big Blake, as I was told you about a month ago, I'm Jewish and I'm joining Prince Hall.
Do you think I might ever run into anything while taking the oath has to do with Christianity? If so, if so, it will go against my faith. Oh, okay. Brother Lee Hall, we're going to talk about that. You're in Georgia. I'm headed that way in about, I'm for real. I'm headed that way, Brother Lee Hall. Georgia, you said. I'm headed that way in a few hours. That, my word is, I'm telling you, I'm coming that way in a few hours. I'm, I'm coming that way. All right. But I'm going to go back to this where the brother said, oh, okay, Brother Big Blake. He said, Brother Big Blake, you're Jewish. And you becoming a Prince Hall Mason. Brother, you're going to run into everything that has to do with Christianity. Period. Woo. I've been sitting in this chair almost an hour and a half, gentlemen. If I'm wrong, Lee Hall, if I'm wrong, Brother Jackson, if I'm wrong, correct me. But to Brother Blake, you're going to run into everything that's dealing with Christianity when you become a member of Prince Hall. I'm just throwing it out there so you'll know. So you won't be shocked come St. John's Day. All right? You won't be shocked when it comes to opening your lodge. You won't be shocked. I just want you to know, yes, you're going to run into everything that deals with Christianity. I'm just saying. I should be getting on the road in a few minutes. Okay. So you're asking Rock, you're asking how can he practice the primitive rites on Prince Hall's side? Because the primitive rites has nothing to do with your Grand Lodge. That's an individual thing. That's an individual thing. You have to prove that you're a Mason. You have to prove you've been initiated, passed, and raised. You have to prove that you have these other degrees within Freemasonry. Then you can proceed to the primitive rites. That's my understanding. Now, if I'm wrong, I don't mind being corrected. However, that's my understanding from what I've read. Okay? You have to be a Mason to go into these primitive rites. And if he's that, then he has a right to. The ideal is that if his Grand Lodge finds out, then that's something he's going to have to deal with. No, I don't look at Brother Rock. I don't look at Prince Hall as one body. When I speak of Prince Hall, I'm gonna put it to you this way, bro. And I got where you're coming from. I'm not looking at Brother Lee Hall as Prince Hall. He's a Mason. He's a Prince Hall Mason. That's his jurisdiction. I got that. That's what I'm looking at him from. As a person who's a Mason that is in Prince Hall, period. I'm not looking at that whole entire body. Because the whole entire body is not going to accept me. You are right. They're not going to accept me as a Mason. And I'm okay with that. You know, that's the big picture. But me building a bridge with that one person counts a lot more to me than trying to have that whole Grand Lodge to recognize me. I ain't got time for that. I don't. Let him come over and get it. That's where, hey, Rock 101, that's where you and Lee Hall got to have that conversation. You and him needs to have that conversation. Let him come over and get it. If he want it, let him come over and get it. But what he wanted to talk about was how can he get it? How can he get it? That's what he wants to talk about. So I don't mind having that conversation with Brother Lee Hall in regards how can he get it. But as you said, he got to come over to get it. Because his Grand Lodge is not going to allow him to have those degrees. And I know that. Yes, Brother Jackson, good advice. Good advice, Brother Jackson. Big Blake, talk to your lodge sponsor. One should never be tried for seeking more light as long as it's done in a lawful way. Brother Boxer, you're right. Shouldn't. However, we know that that's not the case. It's not the case at all. It is not the case at all. He's going to have some difficulties. Trust me on that. It's not lawful for a Prince Hall brother to seek. It's not lawful. Is it not lawful for a brother Prince Hall to seek primitive rights? No. He can seek it. The ideal is his Grand Lodge going to allow him to have it? That's the fact. That is the fact. He can seek being a member of the primitive rights. He can seek that life. But is his Grand Lodge going to allow him to have those degrees? Are they going to agree with the fact that he is now actually talking masonry to most of the black, ancient, free, and accepted Masons who accept the primitive rights? That's where that's at. He can get it, but he got to come over to the Black, Ancient, Free, and Accepted Masons organization. You know, yeah. You know, hey, yeah, that's true. You know, the fact of the matter is, why? Okay, what's up, Brother Dorsey? Why did they fight those degrees? They didn't fight the degrees. Brother Dorsey, check this out. Thornton A. Jackson was a 96 degree. Thornton A. Jackson, who was the most puissant sovereign grand commander for PHA in the 1800s to the early 1900s, was a 96 degree. It is not that they knew nothing about the degrees. It's the idea that they stopped themselves from practicing it. You know, that's what they did. They follow per se mainstream Grand Lodges. And so they don't recognize those degrees. But Thornton A. Jackson had the degree. He was a 96 degree. It's proven. Oh, LaTroy. What's up, LaTroy? Hey, brother, if you come in here causing some havoc, I would delete you from the page. Truth. This is not about the clandestine thing. I'm telling you right now, LaTroy, if you're in here causing havoc, I would delete you from the page. That's truth, bro. Prince Hall won't do anything that their masters won't allow them to do. Rock 101, that's a choice that Lee Hall has to make. That's his choice. Why isn't Freemasonry called ancient Africanism? Why we keep the substitute name? Well, I don't know why you keep the substitute name United Grand Lodge of England. That is something that I don't keep, bro. I've been sitting in this chair for a minute. That is something I don't keep. Okay, so Brother Seven Spring, no, we don't get down like that. Black, ancient, free, and accepted Masons, we don't get down like that. And I'm not speaking for everybody, but I'm speaking for my jurisdiction. I can say that. Yep. Hey, Brother LaTroy. Yeah, let's keep it civil. We're going to do that. All right, so my lodge sponsor told me I could swear in on my own Bible, which is the Torah. Peace. I just don't want to be tricked into taking a Christian oath. Bruh. Okay, so going back, this video is talking about the oath. Anyway, so speaking on that, it is not that your oath is going to be a Christian oath. It's if you take it on the Christian Bible. Or do you take it on the Torah? Or do you take it on the Quran? Or do you take it on the Buddhist Bible? Or do you take the oath on the Constitution? That's up to you. But I tell you this, if you're going to join Prince Hall Grand Lodge of State, you might as well get ready to go to church. I'm just saying. And it's out there. And for those of you who are Prince Hall Masons, you know, it is what it is. St. John's Day the Baptist, and St. John's Day the Evangelist. You might as well get ready to go. Yep, might as well. All right. One of the most unmasonic things about Prince Hall in general is that they promote Christianity in their lodge. Oh, Brother Freemason Unlocked, you had to go there, didn't you? Brother, you had to go there. I'm not going to touch that. Well, I did, but, you know. I'll leave that where it's at. All right. That's true. You can take your oath on any holy Bible that you profess. However, Brother Rock 101, some lodges won't let you do that. Some lodges won't let you take an oath on any Bible that you want to take your oath on. They won't. So he's going to have to find out if that's okay. And he's already said that they have told him that it was okay. But like I said, you might as well get ready for an eye-opener, because when St. John's Day come along, you will find yourself in church or be fined. Period. Brothers should be left outside the lodge. Both should be. Well, but brother, you're saying that politics and religion should be left outside the lodge. They're the most important thing that's in the lodge. Let's not play games with that. Look, you're gonna have the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran in the lodge. Boom, religion. All right. Then you're gonna tell me I should leave politics out. But every officer in there is elected. That's politics. So you're not gonna leave them out. They're in the lodge. They're there. The ideal is to be civil about it. Can that brother be a Muslim and a Christian and actually be civil and respect each other for their faith? Boom. That's it. Can that brother be a Republican and a Democrat and say, even though, you know what, I know you personally, we can get along? That's the civil part. That's where the civil part comes in at. You know? No, the ritual does not say anything different. Meet on the level. Oaths are to be taken in allegories of a higher reverence. That is true. The rules is the Sagittarius religion and the Protestant politics are illegal in the lodge meeting. Freemason, unlock. You're right. It is illegal in the lodge room. However, it is in the lodge room, brother, because you're taking your obligation on a book of faith. Boom, religion. Then you're going to turn around and elect your officers. Boom, politics. Because you know, a lot of brothers don't come to the lodge meeting until it's time to hold elections. And you got brothers jockeying for positions, just like you do in politics. Religion in general and a universal spirit of law. Now, let's look at this here. Let's remove man religion out of it and let's look at faith. That's the difference. Faith. You know, follow your God and fear no danger. See, I can't go into that. But that's the thing. Okay? But we are not their teachers. But we are not their teachings, any religion. You're not teaching any religions of dogma. You're not. However, if the only Bible that you have on the altar is what they call the Holy Bible, and you don't have a Quran or a Torah there, you got to ask yourself. If that's the only Bible that you're going to allow on that altar, you have to ask yourself those questions. If the only scripture you're going to read is from the Bible, you have to ask yourself that question in regards to religion being part of the fraternal order. You got to ask yourself that question. Now, if your lodge is going to allow another book to be read, then that's something different. That is just something different. If they're going to allow the Torah to be read like they're going to allow the Bible to be read, you're on equal footing now. Everybody's on the level. But if they're not going to allow the Torah to be read, but you're going to read the Holy Bible, then I got issues with that. No. No. What I'm saying, CD, Corey, Dorsey, what I'm saying, bruh, is that in most Prince Hall lodges, you're not going to find a Quran on the altar or a Torah on the altar. You're going to find the Christian Holy Bible, bar none. And I'm saying that we're saying, and I can agree with you, religion and politics doesn't need to be involved with the Masonic order. I agree with you. However, if you're going to elect your officers, which we do, that deals in politics. If you're going to have only the Bible on the altar, which is predominantly Christian Bible, that deals with religion. Now, if you're going to have the Quran, the Torah, and other Bibles on there, that puts everybody on the level. Okay? If a brother is well qualified to be elected to that office, and you're not voting because you're friends, then you're taking the politics out of that. Okay, so I got you. I understand what you, but I'm looking at it from 2 points of views. That's all. I'm playing both sides to the middle. Plain and simple. The problem with Prince Hall is that you will sit through a gathering within the name of the Lord of Jesus Christ, our Savior, being mentioned. Even in mainstream doesn't do that. That's illegal in Masonry. Freemasonry, you are right. He's right. You are going to sit through that. You are going to hear the prayers that way. He's not lying. Badges aren't VOL. So these sides of order should cease. You think so? Okay. But I thought each verse was alluding to something. Each verse is alluding to something. This is why in the Bible, when you have those 3 different verses for those 3 different creeds, you should have them also in the Quran. You should have them also in the Torah. They're there. Because there are sisters who are Muslims, and they want to take their obligation as an Eastern Star on the Quran. So they have 5 herons from the Quran. The Eastern Star on the Christianity side has 5 herons. Boom, there you go. So she's studying her 5 herons and let them study their 5 herons. They're still sisters of the order. Fairest among thousand, altogether lovely. They're still that. We're still brothers of the craft. Whether you're from the Muslim, or whether you're from the Jewish, or whether you're from the Christian, Protestant, we're still brothers of the order. It's that idea that everybody being on the level. And when I say on the level, that means if your Bible is on the altar, my Bible should be on the altar. That puts everybody on the level. It's a choice. Absolutely. LaTroy, I agree with you. Whew. LaTroy, I agree with you, brother. It is a choice. British family. Okay, the VOL aren't the VO. Oh, okay. Okay. Is that a conflict? No. Me having the Torah, me having the Quran, and the Bible on the same altar is not a conflict, because Mason regards no man for his religious beliefs, right? But you take an obligation to your faith, to your God on your Bible. That's where that comes in at. Then that's also the religious part of it, because you're still going to practice your faith outside of the lodge. The lodge that where you meet puts everybody on the level, but you're still able to practice your own faith, period. Remember, generally speaking, PHA and mainstream Masonry do not inform their members that Masonry is an ancient mystery school. This is why they have dogmatic religious thinking in their ranks. Freemasonry, I don't know where you come from, brother Dave, but you boom, boom, you hitting that gavel. Not the but Muslim becomes Nikes. Yeah, a Muslim can become a Nike if he chooses to go to York right. You know, he can. And don't forget, there are also Nikes on the Scottish Rite side. Okay? So, if you are a Jewish person and you're becoming a Mason, you're going to have a choice to make whether you want to go York Rite or Scottish Rite. But I tell you this, if you go York Rite, it's all about Christ. It's all about Christ. And I go to church and I go to the mosque. I ain't mad at nobody. Unlock, you're on point. You have taken the oath, I see. The assassination were the Knights. Yeah, but you got to remember, the Knights got assassinated by the Hospitalitors. The Hospitalitors was ordered by the Pope on Friday the 13th to go kill all the Knights of Templars. This is what Jacques Desmoulins said when he was being burned at the stake by the Knights of Hospitalitors. Me being Jewish, I just don't want to get looked at funny since I don't accept Jesus. Literally, since almost all of Prince Hall Masons here in Louisville, Kentucky are Christians. Well, bruh, Big Blake, bruh, you're gonna have to let it be known. This is your faith. You will not be at St. John's Day. That's all. I ain't coming to St. John's Day and leave it alone. Me being straight or on the outside. Me being strange. Oh, okay. On the outside. Okay. Got you. I believe why Prince Hall is so strong on the Christianity is because a lot of the AM Christian churches are predominantly started by Prince Hall leaders and members. That could be true. That could be true. You know, that could be true, brother. LaTroy, I call LaTroy brother. Oh my God. Ugh. LaTroy, boy, I tell you. No order of assassins were the Knights of Templars. Okay. Seven Springs, okay. If you are an Orthodox Muslim or a Christian, Masonry will conflict with your creed in many respects. You have to be mystical Christianity or Muslim to understand how Masonry and all its paths are one. Freemason Unlocked, boy, I'm telling you, one day we're gonna do a video together. We're gonna have to make that happen, bro, cause you like hitting them in the head, bro. Troy Irvin also, could you help? He's a good brother. Hey, if he's a good brother, help brother Blake, Big Blake. Help him out. Any of you. I don't care. This guy is seeking to become a Mason. And he's a Jew. Or his faith is a Judaism. Help that brother out. Help him out. Don't leave him hanging. I guess that's why they call it the mystical tie. I guess I keep popping up that book, the mystical life of Christ. I have a book, man, and that book will blow you away. It's not like the Bible. It is not like that at all. I've always enjoyed your video. Just keep it up, brother. Keep your light on and stay at the bushes. All right, brother Jackson. Stephen, I appreciate that. All right, brother Boxer, what's up? Yes, just the mystical tie. So long the Templars had agreement. Look at it. Look it up. Yeah, the Templars did have an agreement, but the Pope changed the agreement. The Pope said, hey, we know that the Templars, no, man, that gets deep. The Templars and the Muslims actually worked together at one time. They did. In the history, you look at the Templars and the Muslims, they actually worked together at one time. It was the Pope who put that creed out and told the Hospitalitors to go and kill the Templars, and they set them up. They did, and they had to flee. Simple as that. The people, the Pope, okay. The Pope, their goal, an organization, religions against working in the mighty hands. Hey, you know you gotta kiss that pink. You know you gotta kiss it, right? You know you gotta kiss that. That's a fact. So when we look at it, when we see that thing, it gets deep. You know, it gets deep. And for you 33rds who go buy your degree and don't learn and don't read and follow up, That pinky ring right there, you a 33rd, or you got one that goes on this finger right here, and you a 33rd, you better go read up on it. And understand what the oath you just took. You took more than one. You better understand that journey you were just on. You know, because a lot of you who become 33rds, you just go pay for your degree. Here's my 1800, here's my 2008. Ugh, no, how I'm gonna get on that. What religion have their own nation? The Pope, the Catholic Church has their own nation. And their own money. I know it sounds funny, but yeah, the Pope, they have their own nation, bro. They have their own secret service. They have their, yeah, them Jesuits ain't nothing to play with. I'm just saying. You're right. It is invitation only. You got the money? You're right. But when you become a 33rd, bro, you're supposed to be the cream of the crop. You're supposed to be able to talk about all of those facets of Freemasonry and those degrees. You just, you know, a lot of people who become 33rds just pay. You know, well, invitation only. Man, forget that invitation only. You are right. It is supposed to be invitation only. But a lot of people get invited because they got the money to pay for it. That's just like having a big house. I got the money to go buy it, so I have a big house. You know, and you're right. I will agree with you, Irvin. It is by invitation only. However, some people just pay to have the degree, bruh, and don't even know what they got, don't even know what they just did. Yeah, they don't. You know, I could say some things in regards to that degree work. Yeah, some should be still knocking. Shit, look. Let me tell you this here, and I can speak on this. So when you get your 33rd, hear me clearly. When you get that 33rd, it's going to be different than anything that the honorary degree and invitation only. When you get that, you're supposed to be the cream of the crop. You're supposed to have a Masonic resume. And you're supposed to submit that resume, just like for a job, because it's invitation only. So if I'm inviting you to become a 33rd, you should be interviewed, okay? There should be an interview committee. You got your interview committee. They're going to look at your resume. They're going to see what you've done Masonically. They're going to see what type of job you have. They're going to do a whole thing on you. They should. But sometimes, hey, depends on where you at. You could break off $2,000 or $3,000. Here you go. I'll meet you at the next Supreme session in Washington, D.C., and we're going to get this done. And that's a fact, Jack. And then those who get the 33rd can't even talk about it because they don't know, they don't even know. And I've come across some. Be it ancient free. Yeah, you brothers. My brothers. You got your 33rd and don't even know what it means. And PHA and modern, yeah, I get so pissed. Here I am. I have my ring on, this one, and you may have the bigger band on, and I'm talking to you on this level, and you looking at me like, oh, no, nope, Go Gotha. Hey, go Gotha. I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. I ain't telling you no secrets and stuff like that. I ain't telling you nothing. I'm just saying, go get it for yourself. We pick up, hey, I tell everybody, if you're Otis Wright Mason or York Wright Mason, you know, read, you know, do that. Our fellas, huh? Yeah, they coming back. The Odd Fellas are making a comeback. You know, that's good. They're actually making a comeback. But so look, guys, you know what? I gotta go hit this road, man. I gotta head toward Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. So I gotta go get on this road. So look, I have to really go. The next time I tune in, I'll probably be somewhere else and I'll be hollering at you. But until then, as always, keep your light on and stay out the bushes. I'm out. I gotta go. Thank you. Safe travels to you too, brother.